Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom Green. I'm Chair of the Board of Directors, and I want to thank you for joining us. It's obviously a busy time for all of us, and appreciate everybody taking time out in order to listen to the webcast. It's a lot easier to get a lot of information across this way than it is to rely on email and regular mail. This also will give everybody a chance to ask questions and us to answer them live, so it's a nice format. I hope the smile comes through this line, on the smile on my face, because I'm really excited and happy with what has happened over these last couple of months with EDexpo Planning, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys here. For those of you who don't know me, not only am I Chair of the Board of Directors of EDmarket, but my regular job as President of John R. Green Company. We're a full-line distributor, and we have a retail store. We're based in Covington, Kentucky. If I read all the notes to you I've written to prep for this webinar, I'd run out of breath and probably be pretty hard on your ears as well. So I'm joined on here by Kent Brings. Ken is Chairman of the EDexpo Planning Committee and possessor of a much more attractive voice to share the presenting and keep me on track. Thank you, Kent. Kevin Casey and Doug Jaley will also join us at the end of this to add to the conversation during the Q&A. Before I get started, I'll let everybody know that this webinar is being recorded and will be available for future broadcast in our online video library. During today's presentation, everyone listening is muted in order to avoid audio problems and extra background noise, but you will have an opportunity to ask questions at any time by simply typing in your questions on the right-hand box. There's a question box you'll see on your screen. Kent and I will answer all the questions as we have time at the end. So let's get into the presentation. This year, the Executive Committee joined the EDexpo Committee in the planning in order to take a deep look at the strategy and direction of the show. On your screen, you see a list of these Executive and EDexpo Committee members. Over the last 90 days, these groups have taken multiple days out of the office to convene in person twice, call over 200 dealers, review over 250 detailed show survey responses, and work on 3 separate task forces to determine the best way to serve the needs of our EDexpo attendees and exhibitors. There's a lot of work, but it's gratifying. We've learned a lot and have really improved the show. The leaders on the committees, first we listened in the calls and the surveys, and to the surveys just mentioned, but we listened to each other for hours as we talked about perspectives on the show, different ideas. Then we discussed and analyzed all of them to develop the new strategies that will improve EDexpo and elevate the profile of our dealer reseller channel, ultimately pulling more sales through our channel and through our dealerships and adding value to your exhibit experience. Rest assured that your fellow leaders here, we are well aware of the significant investments involved in exhibiting at the trade show, and that you need a solid return on that investment for all the dollars you spend. The candid feedback we got helped guide our discussions and decisions, so if you were one of the suppliers or independent reps who provided the feedback, thank you for sharing your ideas and your concerns. There's a lot of passion and care around EDexpo, and it's clear that EDexpo is important to us. Obviously, the Executive Committee and the Planning Committee think it's important with all the extra hundreds of hours we've spent. Let's start with how we got here as an industry. The good news is that the total volume of education product selling through distribution is still healthy, but it's shifting. We all know there's been a marked decline in the number of retail-based businesses that make up the traditional dealer base. There's no definitive statistic, but in talking with a number of suppliers, consensus was that there's around 500 to 550 dealers who specifically focus all or at least a large volume of their business in the education market. And they also note that the number is roughly half of what it was a decade ago. Some of you have been willing to also share that your business in this channel is larger than it was a decade ago. You see fewer buyers, but those dealers buy more per dealer. So while lower traffic does not automatically equal fewer dollars on the show floor, we do know that some dealers have been sitting out, and we want them to participate in the show. We're committed to improving dealer attendance numbers and attracting new customers to EDexpo. Ultimately, we feel strongly after all of our investigation and work that there's a greater opportunity than we're currently experiencing in our dealer reseller channel, and that there are ways to pull a lot more sales through our dealers, a lot more. Our central theme in our planning meetings was to help more product get sold through our channel, and you'll hear that reiterated throughout this webinar. This idea has become a guiding principle as we made the decisions to create a must-attend trade event that serves the needs of both the dealer and the exhibitor communities. We'll focus today on the 5 main strategies that we approved and that our staff have been quickly implementing. Strategies to increase dealer attendance and thus add value for EDexpo exhibitors. The first is the need to create more community, more networking, and fun, the all under one roof kind of a concept. In Atlanta, we can all be in connected hotels to make these opportunities for interaction happen. Dealers who sign up for the show by September 30 will be able to reserve 3 nights in the headquarters hotel, which is the Marriott Marquis, and they can do it for only $99 a night. The 99 is kind of a fun and fitting number as well, because next year will be EDmarket's 99th anniversary. Exhibitors will be charged the regular rate of $159 per night, but still an attractive rate for this city. We definitely encourage you guys to make your reservation early to stay there too. By getting all together in one place, it's a hotel that offers bars, restaurants, open lounge conversation space, etc. And we'll have more opportunities to catch up with each other, find old friends, trade advice, network better, etc. The room availability at the Marriott is large enough to accommodate all the dealers and vendors, and the other host hotel, the Hyatt, is connected to it as well. The relationships we've created at Expo last a lifetime, and we've got a lot of friends there. I personally do. I know lots of you guys do too, and we want to make sure we all have the chance to enjoy the experience as well as make better connections. To qualify for the $99 rate, dealers must register for the EDexpo by September 30, stay 3 nights, and visit a minimum of 30 exhibitors in the exhibit hall. Exhibitors assigned by EDmarket based on their areas of product interest and indicated by them during the registration process. This will ensure good quality booth visits from dealers at the leisure of both you and the dealers who are looking for product like yours. You can remind your dealers about this deal designed to help make EDexpo more affordable. Kent's going to give us some information on the market conditions as a fellow supplier. For those of you who don't know Kent, he brings 3 decades of experience in our industry and invaluable input regarding how to be successful selling product through our channel. Kent?
I'm on now. Thanks, Tom. Much has changed in the world of delivery, and we must change with it. Competition from discount stores, big box retailers, trends such as showrooming, where customers examine the merchandise in our dealer stores and then buy online, has eroded some dealer sales. Add to that the increase in direct selling, competing for free and inexpensive resources from sites like Teachers Pay Teachers, and the other threats to our dealer network are significant. They are facing more competition, and we as suppliers are forced to sell through multiple channels if we intend to grow our market share. That's the reality of our market, but I strongly believe that a vibrant and enhanced EDexpo can help both support our resellers and increase long-term sales. Opportunity is out there for all EDmarket members willing to adapt to the new reality of education delivery. Education it's still a big business with over $20 billion in educational sales projected this year. More money than ever is flowing into education and specifically into supplemental curriculum. Why are the big investors so attentive to South by Southwest and ISTE and the education incubators and accelerators that are popping up in various places? Because there's a huge opportunity in supplemental curriculum and in tools to help teachers teach. Certainly, a lot are digital, some are physical, and a few are hybrid, but they all need marketing and sales, customer touches, and market expertise. In short, they need distribution, and that's what our reseller channel provides. First, we have to make sure more teachers know about us. The EDmarket Retail Awareness Study shows that only 6 in 10 teachers even know about especially teacher stores. When teachers do know that our stores exist, an impressive 94% buy from them. If we can increase the number of teachers that know our stores exist from the current 6 out of 10 to say 8 out of 10, the potential sales increase in teacher out-of-pocket dollars is right around 33%. That's a huge number if we can make it happen. Increasing the profile of our stores, all our dealers, can bring great gains. At last year's EDexpo, we invited a few teacher bloggers to participate in the Teacher Trendsetter program, and they loved it. They told all their followers about the exciting new products that they saw at the show and how to buy them through the dealer channel. One of the strategies that we'll employ for the 2015 show is to invite many more of these influential bloggers to help increase awareness of all the great products and where to find them. There will be an extensive promotion of the teacherstores.com website to direct readers to click and link to a dealer near them. A buyer's guide of EDmarket dealers will also be provided to all the bloggers in attendance. These bloggers will again award exhibitors who have the most innovative products with a Trendsetter Top Pick Award to enhance their brand and increase product sales. Again, our central theme in all our discussions regarding these initiatives for EDexpo was to help more product get sold through our channel. One such strategy is a pull-through strategy where interest for a specific product or service is created by exposure to key users and decision makers, with the sales directed to the EDmarket dealers, resellers, and distributors. You know, they're the ones that have the relationships with the schools, the teachers, and the parents in their local markets. We want that earlier figure I mentioned, the 6 out of 10 teachers awareness figure, to grow to be 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. You know, that's where we're going to really start making some impact, and I think that these initiatives are really, truly going to help us get there. I'm going to turn it back over to Tom to go over a few more initiatives.
Thank you, Kent. To further increase this awareness we're talking about while strengthening customer relationships, we'll offer dealer members the chance to bring a key customer or influencer of purchases in their customer base to the show, and it'll be with a grant provided by EDmarket. It'll be like a kid in a candy store to bring some of these folks, and I think they'll be awfully appreciated and excited to be able to spend time with their dealers and you guys exploring the world of EDexpo. And the trade show becomes basically a 3D catalog live for them. The dealers also become better product feedback consultants as these customers share their reactions and insights into the products. And the customers obviously learn more about them as well and can then increase their purchases and demand through their schools. We've seen firsthand the energy and enthusiasm these types of attendees can bring to a show through our experience with EdSpaces. Yeah, it changes the dynamic on the show floor, but overwhelmingly it's for the better. These customers increase the quality of conversations, and both dealers and exhibitors have figured out how to have all the confidential discussions we need to have without significant issues at EdSpaces. And I expect the same to wind up being true for EDexpo. Again, yeah, there's a learning curve on both sides. Booth layouts evolve, appointments evolve, but the bottom line is it ultimately works. Dealers who register for EDexpo 2015 and renew their dues or join EDmarket by September 30 will be guaranteed at least one grant for a customer they recommend. Customers can access the form directly, but the key to getting approval is that the customer must supply the name of their dealer on the form. The dealer must have both registered and renewed their dues. Then they are free to distribute the grant application to as many customers as they want. Multiple customers may be awarded, but only one is guaranteed to be awarded. Grant winners will receive travel and transportation to EDexpo up to $500, 2 to 3 nights hotel stay in the Atlanta Hyatt, and EDexpo registration. To be eligible for a grant, applicants must complete and return the grant application form by November 14th. All grant applications will be reviewed by the grant committee, and grant winners will be notified by the end of December. In addition to the dealer-sponsored grants, EDmarket will be reaching out to school and district personnel, curriculum coordinators, principals, superintendents, procurement specialists, etc. Folks with substantial purchasing power or product selection authority, so they can see all that's new and innovative for the classroom teacher and student, some of it even before it hits store shelves or catalogs or websites. As an exhibitor or sales group, you too can distribute the grant applications to these types of key buyers and those with major purchasing influence. Grants will be awarded to key buyers for schools or school districts or purchasing influencers of some kind. On the dealer grant program, the dealer will obviously get major input on who they want to bring. But for the others, they will have to influence a large budget, i.e. a whole building, a program, a curriculum area, etc. Each of these customers will be given a buyer's guide listing all EDmarket members to help them find and buy through their preferred store or dealer. Direct sales will be highly discouraged, and no sales will be allowed to these folks on the show floor itself. We'll also be providing gas cards to local principals and curriculum developers so they can engage in conversations with both the manufacturers and the dealers. This should be a great opportunity for a whole lot of end users to see, touch, and engage with the products that we all make and sell and that are changing student outcomes. We've had a lot of discussion in the meetings about these end users being at the show. We know that dealers will immediately wonder if they'll be hurt by their presence, and will exhibitors sell direct to them? Candidly, we face the fact that often the direct selling is already happening, and this way we can introduce customers to these products and vendors in a way that incorporates us as dealers instead of leaving us out of the conversations. Through this grant program, they can create a memorable experience for a top customer, and additionally, they become better product experts and consultants. I mean, as a dealer, we're definitely looking forward to the opportunity to be able to walk our couple best customers around the show floor and really show them things live. Just like with the bloggers that Kent mentioned, in all the communication to these influencers, the benefits of buying through our channel will be explained, emphasized, and reinforced. By making EDexpo into an industry event in which purchasing influencers are integrated into the conversations happening on the exhibit floor, your company can take advantage of that immediate feedback on new and existing products. You can support your dealers as they share your extensive line on display at the show, and ultimately drive more sales as these new buyers see the need for the newest and best materials available in the market. Now I'll turn it back to Kent to talk about what new product areas we plan to bring to EDexpo. Kent?
Well, we talked at length about the types of products dealers currently sell and can sell successfully at retail through their catalog or online. A new movement that's gaining traction in the schools is the Makerspace Movement. Students make things in school, from little crafts to large robots. Think of it as arts and crafts and vocational education combined into a modern form. It has a physical element with lots of consumable product in almost all cases, giving our channel a chance to sell our physical products into a world that is non-traditional in an educational form. EDexpo will introduce attendees to a makerspace feel on the show floor for 2015. And also, as I mentioned earlier, more dollars and resources are flowing into education than ever before. And the changes in curriculum and content delivery are creating new and different opportunities. Many of you have adapted your product line to the digital world or have other lines that you sell outside the dealer channel. Most experts agree that the best educational environments combine digital learning with physical components, a hybrid combination. Some of the digital product is suited to distribution by dealers, while some is perfect to be paired with physical products that we already sell. EDexpo will feature a tech pavilion with a digital product that can be paired with in a hybrid setting. Then there will be a product pitch competition that is being developed to encourage new products that teachers, other educators can pitch, to connect, the new products within our channel. So there are going to be lots of partnership and sales opportunities that will be created for both the exhibitors and the dealers at Expo 2015.
All right. Thanks, Kent. All right, so far we've done a lot of talking, gone through a lot of things. If you guys will go ahead and start putting your questions in your question box. We'll get to those in just a moment. All right, before we get into that, I'll just reiterate on what Kent was finishing with there, and that even the digital product being produced, even by smaller startup publishers, needs distribution. And physical product that we sell, that you guys sell and we as dealers sell, will be paired with it in the classrooms. With some new vendors, new people involved in the digital pavilion, the pitch competition, it'll bring us some new lively blood that should help, and both of us should have opportunities for us to go ahead and find new partnerships or new things to sell. I'll end with this thought. EDexpo is our trade show where we all get to learn and participate. No other event welcomes suppliers of all sizes, supports the dealers through education to help operate their businesses more profitably, and brings the industry all together for fun and networking. EDexpo helps build and enhance our industry in a way that no other event does. Our association is fortunate to be in a position of financial strength. EDmarket is able to invest in making EDexpo an event that works for all of us, but we need your help to make it happen. It's obviously a trade show to market, and the more people that participate, the better it is. If you've reserved your booth space already, thanks. If not, I'm hoping that you can do that soon. We've been working hard to make the EDexpo the best event for all the companies in the industry, and from my point of view and from all of our points of view from the planning committees, we're all better off if EDexpo thrives. At this point, I will introduce and add Doug Jaley and Kevin Casey to our conversation. Welcome, guys, and we'll start taking questions.
Good afternoon.
Before we get into the questions, is there anything either of you want to reiterate or emphasize as we wrap up the presentation portion?
Who's going first?
Well,
you can.
Give you the option. You go.
All right. Kevin Casey here, and I guess I'm really extremely excited about the new format for EDexpo. This is something that I've been actually wanting to happen for many decades now. When I started in the first chain of teacher stores, McMillan Teacher Center, back in the 70s, and then I moved to Louisiana and was working in outside sales in the New Orleans area. And I used to travel to the International Reading Association meeting annually because I would take all of my Title I customers around the floor and take them to Carson's booth and Incentive Publications and Trend and all of the lines that I carried who had 3D catalogs there is the way I looked at it. And it created a whole different environment for me as a guy representing a very small dealership. Suddenly we were extremely important because we were connected with all the hot products in the marketplace. And as a result, that little company did millions of dollars out the back door because of the relationships that were cemented in that atmosphere. And I've always thought that the role of a trade association is really to move the industry forward, increase its market share, and without involving the end user in that discussion, that's not going to happen. We're going to talk to each other and sell each other products, but the end user is not all that aware of all the things we can offer and we can do. And I really believe bringing them into the fold is going to open up more business for all of our dealers, faster product awareness and faster time to sales in the marketplace. And so I'm extremely excited about it. And I've changed my exhibit setup. I've increased my exhibit because and I'm changing who's coming to the show. and I'll have an area to have private discussions as well as show product to both end users and dealers in a slightly different manner than I had before. But I think it's going to be a great move forward. And I'll end it there.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Doug?
Yeah, thank you, guys. A couple of things. First of all, this is basically re-engineering the EDexpo show. About 3 or 4 years ago, we went through the same situation with the EdSpaces show and started including purchasing decision makers and facility managers, and the show has basically been revitalized. I think that at the EDexpo show, to have dealers in the aisle, but also to have principals and purchasing agents, curriculum specialists, or people in general that are responsible for spending the funds to support our industry is huge. And I think it'll create some excitement and vibrance, but also for the exhibitors, it provides an immediate way for you to get newer products into the marketplace rather than having to wait for the catalog cycle or promotional cycle or the selling cycle. There are going to be hopefully hundreds of influencers that are going to be able to make decisions on products immediately for the school year. So I think it's a huge step forward. I think it's going to be interesting to get some lessons learned from this and to apply those as we build the business, but we have re-engineered the EDexpo show into something that it has not been for a long time. And finally, the support and the investment we're making in the dealer community to have them financially get incentives to bring their staff for staff training and to get them to bring more of their key employees to the show is only going to accelerate business for everybody. So I applaud what you guys are doing.
All right. Thank you, Doug. All right, we'll move into some of the questions. Question, how will we differentiate between dealers, bloggers, press, influencers, etc.? The answer is they'll each have different badge colors for each group, and exhibitors will know who they're talking to from the badge color, and they'll know how to adjust their sales pitch accordingly. Next question is, will I need to bring more exhibit personnel to hold extra conversations with dealers versus influencers? The answer is possibly, but at the very least you'll need to train exhibit staff or be prepared for the new audiences at the show so they can talk knowledgeably and hopefully deal with so much traffic that everybody wants to bring a lot more people. All right. Explain the pitch competition more. Well, a lot more details will be developed on the pitch competition. It's still in development, but the point will be to get folks who are launching products or specifically companies to create product that is a hybrid product, both digital and can be paired with physical product, to get them to pitch and have a competition, and you wind up with finalists and winners and awards. It helps get new ideas and new folks involved, and brings a lot more forward-thinking kind of folks, and will help both dealers and suppliers just with that kind of ecosystem being present. And it'll dovetail nicely with the digital or tech pavilion that we'll have. So I would expect those folks to also be in that pavilion, and yeah, the pavilion will be available to anybody. You could have a second booth or move your booth to that if you'd like, if you'd rather be emphasizing your digital things over your physical things. How is EDmarket looking to close the gap of the 40% of teachers not knowing about their local store? Well, the big steps that we're taking through this are the biggest outreach is going to be through bloggers. They're basically media in this day and age, and they have thousands of followers apiece. And so each of those, if we have a couple dozen bloggers, we wind up with many thousands of impressions, and they write multiple blogs and post things about it that are all searchable online for anybody, even not followers of their blog. And our channel will get exposed through all of that. Not to mention then we'll have a couple hundred other influencers there who will also to their networks be able to talk about the channel and understand that it's a really good way to buy and understand that our products exist as well. Kent, you want to add anything to that?
I think that, there are so many of the influencers that will be attending and the principals. Granted, a lot of them will attend some teacher shows and potentially be exposed to some of the supplemental materials while at an IRA or an NSTA. But, the fact of the matter is many of the decision makers are either attending higher level meetings or they're not walking the show. But here they're going to be compelled and be exposed to a lot of viable and exciting new product. So I think that's information that they're going to take back and share, within the district, within the building, with their teachers and other curriculum coordinators.
Well, I know you've also had some experience with social media and people touting your products on social media, if you want to mention that to folks.
Well, this last year at Toy Fair, there was a blogger that came in and took a picture of me and holding one of the new items that she was excited about, and before I knew it, I'd been broadcast out to 35,000 of her followers within, a matter of 5 minutes. So it's, the potential is there for, immediate, enthusiastic exposure for all of our brands.
Yeah. All right. Where is the list of grantees and users coming from? Will names be selected randomly, or do we submit a listing? Not sure if we caught all of that during the presentation. The list of grantees and users, primarily the grantees themselves will come from dealers, but then they'll also come from multiple other sources. As we said, all you guys on the call will have the ability to distribute grant applications, and there will be some advertising out to these types of folks in their trade publication kinds of things. And so that's how we'll get lots of the applications, and then they'll be selected based upon their qualifications of how much they influence and whether they meet our basic qualifications that way, and that's how they'll be selected. Any other comments on that? Do the people coming on the grants have to walk with the dealer that brings them, or are they going to be able to walk the floor by themselves? They will be able to walk the floor by themselves or be with the dealer, whichever they want. We expect some combination thereof. I know that for people that we would bring, there's places I would certainly want to take them, but then there's also some places, there's also some time I would want them to just kind of be able to roam free and then come back and say, hey, I found these things and I want to show them to you. Will there be educational sessions and workshops for dealers? Yes. In fact, the track will be enhanced. There will be the same kinds of sessions that we've had these last few years for dealers, but we'll also be creating a single track that is basically for owners, top managers, and it'll be more a strategic look at things going on in the market at the same time. What is Makerspace? The maker movement it's a term that you can Google and see. It's gained some steam in the last couple of years and started outside of education, but it's getting into education, and it's a formal name. Makers, I mean, they make things. That's what you do in makerspaces. You make actual creations. So it's not fancy in that way. But it's for the educational environment. It's project-based learning, and in many cases it's in its own kind of lab or setting, so that there's tools available or the materials available to put things together, build them. So think about the old labs or an art room or things like that. But there are some schools changing what used to be the library that now doesn't carry all the books that have gone digital, and they take that space and convert it to space for something like this. It was interesting being at the ISTE show, and Intel had a big booth, and Intel is sponsoring Makerspaces, and they think that's a huge movement that they want to be a part of, and had people in their booth, talking about designing their schools with designing new schools being built right now with various makerspaces in them at different grade levels. But overall, it's a trend or a movement. The project-based learning has been going on for quite a while, and has picked up more steam in the recent years, and most people expect it to continue picking up steam, and the maker movement builds on that. So, will there be networking events for dealers and suppliers only, or will the end users be at these events? I'm trying to remember what the exact schedule is. There's going to be a series of events, and end users will definitely be at a number of the events. And I'm trying to remember if there is an event or two that is dealer and exhibitor only. So we'll get more input on that. Question, why can't we develop an app for the smartphones that can be sent out to all teachers, which gives them the location of the teacher stores nearest them? We could do that and there's been ideas regarding that have been floated that could dovetail into some of the information we'll get from end users here at the show, and with some of the things that we could possibly develop software-wise in networking with these folks. Is there a list of the bloggers that attended EDexpo this year? There is. And I'm sure if you just call or email headquarters, they can let you know what it is. Will exhibitors get the $159 hotel rate for more than 3 nights? I believe it's available for 1 or 2 nights before we get there, and the night after the show. But staff can clarify that firmly for everybody. If end users can walk the floor freely, is there concern that they will see wholesale pricing by default just from walking around? Is it possible? It's possible, but I'll tell you that from being at Ed Spaces, I don't know of it happening randomly. Once people are used to it, it's easy to control. On the timing of EDexpo, since setup will only be a couple days after New York Toy Fair, how confident are you that the caravan will arrive in Atlanta on a timely basis? We happen to be using the same exhibit services or company as Toy Fair is, and there's contract, instead of going regular truck, LTL kinds of things, there's a contract haul going direct from New York down to Atlanta. So it should all arrive in Atlanta on a timely basis. If you have any questions about that or how to get in on that, staff has the info on it. What is your expected attendance of end users? Somewhere in the 200 plus range at the moment, but could be a little bit more, 200 to 300. How is teacherstore.com updated? How frequently, as stores have closed and others have, moved? It's updated with membership, and anytime somebody changes their address, teacherstore.com can get updated, but it's all through when you let EDmarket know, or when a store or dealer lets EDmarket know that they've closed one store, opened a store, etc. Will there be opportunities other than booth visits for the suppliers to meet with teachers, focus groups, or panel discussions? Those kinds of, that kind of a thing is being worked on for some kind of workshop or panel discussion, and we'll see if we can put something good together that way. With Toy Fair so close and many dealers attending that event, plus ECRM the week before, how does EDexpo convince a dealer who spent half of February away from her store to come to the event? Well, to me, the EDexpo is the most important of those three. So if we have to cut one out, we're going to cut one of the other ones out and not EDexpo. The goal of this is to have EDexpo be the biggest and most robust trade show that includes the whole industry and includes more education and more focus than any other event. All right. Sorry, it takes a little moment to scroll down the questions. All right. In terms of recruiting end users, why not just buy a list? The answer is we have access to those lists, and I don't know which list we'd buy or what we'd do, but there will be a marketing and PR plan for letting the key end users we're talking about know about EDexpo and know these grants are available. All right. We haven't talked about CAMEX interaction in 2014. How did that work for traffic in either direction across the divide? How was the whole setup in Atlanta? There was traffic that crossed over. We've got statistics on it. There were CAMEX folks who reported back to CAMEX, and we got the statistics and results that said they spent about $300,000 with our folks during the show. And I don't remember off the top of my head how many people crossed over, but that's available from headquarters. In terms of Atlanta, the hall will be much easier and much better laid out than it was this last year. This last year was basically not only the first year we obviously were with CAMEX, but there wasn't very much time to plan the whole hall and all those transitions and things between the show. So last year we were on 2 different levels and had that gap in between. For this coming year, we'll all be on one continuous show floor. And for those of you who've been to Atlanta before, when you go down the escalators into the show area, our show will be first down those escalators, and CAMEX folks will have to walk past that end of our show to walk over into their show. And because there won't be any big physical barrier, it'll be one continuous show floor. It'll be easier for people to understand that they can cross over. Also, overall, with CAMX, there's various kinds of gains and synergies we can work on as we move forward, targeting some of their stores that are in towns where there are teacher colleges or education programs, but there are not currently teacher stores, that kind of thing, and we expect there to be more opportunities like that as we go forward. Has there been any communication yet with suppliers that did not attend in the past about these new changes, or is today the first time? Today is the launch. The letter that was sent out last week that I wrote was the first official announcement, and this is the first time for us to be explaining to the larger audience what's happening. But more outreach will obviously be coming, and more communication and more details will be forthcoming in the coming weeks. All right. Well, I'm at the end of the question list, unless something else pops up. We're there at the end, so I'll ask first Kent and then Doug or Kevin if they have anything they want to say as we wrap up. Kent?
Well, I've been chair of the EDexpo committee for several years, and we've taken some incremental steps to change up EDexpo over the years, and I'll be honest, they haven't always been met with the same expectation that we had. So it's time that we take a dramatic step in the initiatives that I think that we're bringing forward, and also to a degree underwriting. I think they're exciting. I think that they can have a very positive impact. There has not been the same amount of traffic on the floor that we had years ago, nor will there be. We have 550 fewer reseller customers in the marketplace than we did in 2009. But the steps that we're taking from a trade event to an industry event, I think are going to have a very strong and positive impact, and I do encourage everyone to have some discussions and share some feelings and thoughts with the dealer community. I mean, we're all in this together, and it's through our working together and our networking and our commitment to not only help ourselves succeed and one another succeed and our resellers succeed. This is a chance to embrace and change as the market is changing so quickly around us.
All right, thanks, Ken. All right. Kevin, you got any final comments?
Well, I guess the only comment that I would make that I didn't make before was the fact that I have actually been involved in several market research studies, and these were aimed at curriculum coordinators out there at the district level, and it became very clear that they were very aware of the who's who in the education business, the Zahner Blozers and so forth, but our dealers, they were not very aware of, as at least from a point of view as a source for curriculum supplements. And I think that's exactly the kind of trend that we would like to correct. Our industry has way more value than many of the other supplemental channels that are out there. My sister company, Zahner Bloser, sells an alphabet wall chart for $32.95, and most people in our channel that sell the same product for $9.95. We've got a ton of value out there, and we need to make the end user, especially the district level curriculum directors, aware of that value because they have billions of dollars to spend. And so I'm hoping that this is something that's going to work, and that one day we'll have tens of thousands of end users at our show, taking back the word of what a great thing we have going for them.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Doug?
I'm looking forward to some updated communications from our organization as to some of the progress we're making on these programs. And again, I can't tell you enough how excited I am just to have, the potential of several hundred principals invited to come to the show with an incentive to attend. I'm hoping and expecting that we're going to more than double or triple the traffic on the floor for our exhibitors. And with that, I think we're going to have some significant impact on revenue opportunities in the near term. So I'm excited about it, and look forward to getting more information.
Thanks, Doug. And I'll add my final emphasis in that again, I'm very pleased with how everything has gone these last several months. It's been a ton of extra work, a ton of extra investigation and research and discussion, but the programs that we've come up with, I feel strongly about, and the committees do too, that it's just that they have a chance to really move the needle on this thing in a much bigger way than the tweaks and different things that have been done in recent years. And it should have a lot of life, and it's certainly going to be more valuable to our dealership, and I think lots of others are going to see it that way. So I thank you again for your attendance and paying attention to us for here almost an hour. I wish you a great back-to-school season, and I offer you this as we wrap up, is that feel free to contact me or Kent or any of the other executive committee or EDexpo Planning Committee members with any of your questions or things you'd like to discuss. We want to make sure that everybody understands what's going on and why, but also want to make sure we keep the pulse of what's going on. And we know that while these are great initiatives, they'll probably need more refinement. They'll need to evolve as we go forward, just like all our business ideas do. And more input is better. And on any, whether it's our co-location with CAMEX or any other strategic kind of things we're going to talk about, or any new partnerships that could contribute to any of the strategies that we've outlined, I mean, all those things will stay on the table and be the kinds of things that we're going to make decisions on. We're going to make decisions based on what's best for our membership, and if we have to add partners, change partners, or do whatever, we will definitely do that and make this show what it needs to be for all of us. So thank you very much, and again, have a great season.